Welcome back to the show. Let's go to line number 6. Mike, you're on the air.
Yes, good day, Paddy.
Good day to you.
Called Paddy to briefly talk about the wind turbines project that the government's planning, but I'd like to mention a couple other things first, and how government handles these projects and stuff. And I want to mention two very briefly, and I'll just go into the highlights. When Muscat Falls was talked about and stuff, it was a $6 billion project. It's $13.5 billion and ongoing. We're going to shut down Hollywood Generating Station. They don't know if they'll ever be able to shut it down. And I'll move on from that one quickly. Another project that comes to mind was when they're going to ship toxic garbage here in Newfoundland, and we're going to incinerate it, and we're going to save the world. But anyway...
but on that one we didn't.
On that one we didn't, no. But I just, the bells and whistles when these projects comes up from the government, they're good at that, but they're not good at thinking things through.
Well, let's just stick to what you just said there. So Muskrat, as we found out during the LeBlanc inquiry, we just didn't have all the actual information that was in hand. We were purposefully bamboozled, which is vastly different than some other issues. The incineration plan for Lewisport, the government went all the way back to Clyde Wells and said that we've already figured this out via legislation. We're not importing garbage, and so consequently we didn't then and we're not in the future. So they're all a little bit different. So how are you drawing the line between those two and wind, for instance?
Okay. Well, we won't give government too much credit on that.
I'm not giving them any credit. I'm just saying that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just want to get into this wind turbines, and I don't know if everybody knows what's actually involved in this and how they're trying to railroad this down our throats and stuff and that there. But we are talking about 1.6 million hectares of our environment that'll be tore up by roads and blasting and hills and everything. That's one thing. That's one thing.
But that
and
was
we're talking 600.
But that's not accurate though, Mike. That was the initial conversation, that there could be up to that many hectares. But inside the five proposals that are in place, we're nowhere near that number. So when they initially said, when they plotted the entire province for where they might see wind proposals, you're right, it was 1.6 million hectares. But the number of applicants that have come forward, we're nowhere near that.
Okay. Well, with the two projects that are on the go now that are getting fast-tracked, and that they're port-to-port and down Bjorn Way and stuff, and that there's roughly about 650 towers planned. Right, so I'll leave that at that. But I want to move into something else and stuff in that there too. We all know about the beautiful commercials we've had over the years for tourism and how we attracted tourism to our province. And by God, it worked out. I think it's at 1.2 it was over $2 billion, and I think it was roughly, that was pre-COVID, and I think we're into about 1.2 was last year. $1 billion that we attract with tourists that come here, which is absolutely beautiful. And they come here because we are unique. Our landscape is pristine. It's not cluttered by these towering monsters. And we're talking 600 feet, and we're talking thousands of them if this gets a go-ahead. Right? So what's that going to do to our tourism? I'm sure it's not going to help it. We'll have to redo all our commercials when we do it with the drones and stuff and that there, and incorporate these wind turbines into it.
So
right?
the number you used of did you say $1.2 billion in tourism?
Yes, yeah.
That the government spends on tourism?
No, that brings into this province.
Yeah, because the government really doesn't spend a whole lot of money on tourism, to be honest with you. And you're right, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 billion industry. And of course, if we're talking about wind turbines or I don't know if you're wrong or not, and you're probably right, but just add to it some of the implications of other industries that we understand. So, for instance, forestry, mining, when we talk about onshore big developments, has long been a feature of this province right across the country. Add oil in the province of Alberta, their tourism numbers are off the charts. I lived there in the and worked in the hospitality industry for almost a decade. So for me, and I'll get your thoughts on this, I think we think about wind much differently than we do other major developments. Why? Because we kind of know how the oil industry works, for the most part. We kind of know about mining and what that looks for a footprint. We kind of know about forestry and what that means for footprint. We know a bit about how aquaculture works because it's here. But because this is so brand new, it's got many people really up on their arms. And I think some of it is, one, John Risley, two, because it's so new. What do you think?
Yeah. I think this is the worst, possibly the most worst decision that could ever happen in Newfoundland. And because there are so much, there's a pile of dangers that goes with this, Paddy. The government are good at bells and whistles, but they're not good at facts. And all of these wind turbines are projected and geared up for developing hydrogen. Strictly hydrogen. You know what I mean? And there's millions and millions of cubic water that goes along with making hydrogen. So that's got to come from the lakes and the rivers of this province and stuff. Millions of cubic meters, right? It takes, for 2 kilograms of hydrogen, it takes 9 liters of water. And so do the math. But that's one thing.
Yeah, on that front,
because
these are good points, Mike. On that front, when it comes to just developing hydrogen with the wind power, the unfortunate reality is there's also going to be the implication of us having to sell them power and then them selling us power back to our public grid. We don't know how that's going to work or how much it's going to cost.
No.
The water...
And that's why, like with Seamus O'Regan, why would we rush this through and rush through environmental assessment? Like, if you listen to Seamus O'Regan, we got to do this and do this now. Well, that's the approach the government has had in the past, and it's failed them every single time. And they're not listening to the people and what they're living to. You know, you got to picture this. Do you want this? Will we have it on the south sides, on the hills and stuff, and would they have it there up in Dannyland? No. Right, these are out in rural areas where there's not a lot of votes, and it's getting jammed down people's throats. But I still want to go on, and this is really, really important.
Well, let's stick with the water for a second, though, Mike, because it's important stuff.
Ahead.
I think the royalty on water is far too low, in my personal opinion, and we don't even get to collect royalties until the proponent recoups all of their capital investment, which is a long way down the road. But on water, if we only talk about World Energy GH2, their water source is the old commercial Abitibi Reservoir, and for the entirety of their project, they don't need anywhere near as all the water that's currently in that reservoir. So that is a bit different than the lakes and streams and, drinking water, groundwater, aquifers and what have you. So that's that one. I'll let you make what you say is your final point here. Go right ahead.
Okay, and this is a really, really important point and stuff. And this call is dangerous to the public, eh? And what the government is not telling you, the production of hydrogen is done under high pressure. Hydrogen is a gas that when it goes bang, it goes bang. So here we are. We're going to be compressing it. We're going to be storing it in these big storage units. It's going to be transferred from the storage units to the ship ports and stuff. We're going to have ships coming in here that are basically atomic bombs coming in and out of our port, loading hydrogen. It is one. I've worked in the oil industry. I've worked off on Hibernia. I've been around this stuff all my life. And this is high pressure stuff. One mistake becomes a really, really big mistake. And we're planning on putting this close to communities, these storage units. And when that goes bang, Paddy, that goes bang. I'm telling you right now.
We're actually shipping it as ammonia.
Yeah.
So the hydrolysis...
Under high pressure.
Yeah, but vastly reduced. As you know, if you've worked in those big industries, that's the chosen medium to transport the hydrogen because it does come with a significant energy loss. And yes, of course, there's some distinct dangers associated with ammonia as well. But when we talk about the high pressurized nature of hydrogen, it's less when you use ammonia as the medium to ship. I'll give you the final word, Mike, because they're flagging me off to the break.
Okay, and here's the other thing. These thousands of towers, and right now there's 650 planned now, and then I'm looking at the ones that are going to go right across the Isthmus and out to Clarenville and stuff. Like when you leave here now from St. John's and drive to Port of Bath, if this madness was to continue, this is all you're going to see. And that's what I'm saying about tourism. But before I lose track of thought, once we install all these towers, and I'm telling you, they're known to fail. All you got to do is Google it and tower failures and everything else. We are at the risk of, well, we're going to be over the thousands when you get these projects done. It could be 1,500, it could be 2,000 or whatever. So we got these towers peppered all around our landscape. If they fall, if they fail, and we know these towers can fail, we're already trying to fix up Muskrat Falls towers, right? But if they fail, the risk of forest fires and environmental damage is unbelievable, right? It's the worst idea that the Liberal government, they've outdone themselves this time to bring wind turbines into this province. They must have stayed up late at night, and what is the project we can come up with that's connected with the most insanity? And this is it, you know? I can't even picture it, Paddy. Can Newfoundlanders, 500 Newfoundlanders, what we got here, what people from every corner of the world comes to see, and deliberately, purposely destroy it because of the insanity from a few in the Liberal government that will fill their pockets. They'll have to buy extra pairs of pants. You know, this is what it's all about. It's not because it's a good project for Newfoundlanders. This is make hydrogen and send it overseas. It's what Germany, let them make their own hydrogen. All the people are going to buy the hydrogen from us. Let them do it on their own homeland.
I'm not so sure this is a liberal industry. Our closest relative here in Atlantic Canada, being Nova Scotia, the minister there, or pardon me, the premier there, Tim Houston, is a Conservative, and he's all in.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, Mike, I appreciate the time, sir. Thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you very much, Paddy.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. All right, let's take a break. Don't go away.